In this bulletin, the federal election and what it means for the Sunshine Coast. Sand dredging on Mooloolaba Beach. And cupcakes for a cause. Hello and welcome to USC TV News. I'm Daniel Duncanson. Sunshine Coast Labour candidates are calling for a change of local leadership in tomorrow's federal election. They say voters in the region are being shunned and ignored by the major parties because they're too conservative.
The ads might say same old Labour, but here on the Sunshine Coast, Labour candidates say it's a case of the same old Liberals, Peter Slipper and Alex Somley.
This is a very young and vibrant area. There are a lot of retirees, but there's a lot of youth. And I think the inactive laziness of these two reflects badly right across the coalition.
This election will mark 20 years of politics for Fairfax MP Alex Somley, who says while he may be getting old, he's still the best man for the job.
Of course, the older you get, hopefully the wiser you get. And I think I've accumulated quite a bit of wisdom in my years in Parliament.
However, his opponent this Saturday says the region needs a change to attract more funding for projects like the University Hospital.
You can see where the Prime Minister and the Opposition Leader have been visiting, and it's always going to the seats that really will change government. And I believe as soon as the Sunshine Coast becomes a marginal seat, we will have a lot more interest taken in us.
If re-elected, member for Fisher Peter Slipper will serve his 7th term in Parliament for the electorate. However, recent controversy surrounding his travel expenses has cast a shadow of doubt over the MP's leadership. While Mr Slipper declined to comment, the competition was more than happy to predict the poll's outcome.
There will be some negativity against what the government has done over the past 3 years, but I think the negativity of the local federal member in Peter Slipper will far outweigh that.
Laura Hegarty, USC TV News.
The federal government's Building Education Revolution programme has become a hot election issue, with the opposition seizing on claims some projects were a waste of money and others left unfinished. But locally, teachers say the new school hall and library at Chevalham will benefit students and the whole community. It's a site teachers and parents have been counting down to for months. The new school hall filled with students and ready to be officially declared open.
It's just something that you only ever thought high schools got, or really big schools. So a small school having this facility is wonderful.
Even the prep children were finding it challenging to come to terms with their new surroundings in the library. Funded by the federal government's Building Education Revolution programme, the $2.7 million project includes a brand new multi-purpose hall and upgraded library facilities.
It's been a long time planning, but it's great to see it in fruition here today.
The Building Education Revolution programme has come under fire this election campaign, with the opposition declaring it a debacle, a claim Senator Ferner disagrees with.
Out of all the building education revolutions I've attended and opened, I have not heard one complaint. I've only heard compliments.
The new facilities won't only be enjoyed by the students. The school's long history of community engagement is set to continue, with a variety of musical and theatrical performances planned.
The only thing at Chevalham are the strawberry farms, houses on acreage and the school. So to have this facility available to the community, I think is absolutely wonderful.
Daniel Duncanson, USC TV News. The pressure's mounting for the state government to bring forward the opening of Kawarna's Sunshine Coast University Hospital. Locals gathered at the site to protest delays, which mean the public hospital won't be ready until 2016.
Rallying for action. These protesters gathered at the site of the Sunshine Coast University Hospital, sickened by the news the opening has been delayed another 2 years.
The more delay we have, the more problems and the health issues we're going to have on the coast, and 6.5 years is a long, long time to wait.
A hospital action group unveiled a skeleton mascot.
Anyone guess what it is?
And presented member for Kawarna Jared Blay with a 30,000 strong petition to be passed on to Parliament. There was a strong sense of people power amongst the activists.
And this has been because we've told them that enough's enough. We've said hospital delay, no way. We've been a thorn in their side.
People power will keep the pressure on to stop this from being delayed any further.
73-year-old Brian Ginn is terminally ill, but that doesn't stop the digger from turning out to have his say.
Hospital delayed, no way!
He's been at every hospital rally. His main message, that lives could be lost if delays continue. The member for Kawana is urging those who oppose delays here at the hospital site to continue to pressure the state government. He vows people power will prevail if locals don't give up. Taya Lacey, Usc TV News.
The sand dredging that's taken place for the past 2 months on Mooloolaba Beach is almost finished. Council has been working with the state government to restore the eroded beach and create easier access for vessels entering Mooloolaba.
It's not an easy process, but one that experts say is achievable. It just takes time and money. The Sunshine Coast Regional Council will spend $900,000 on the Mooloolaba Beach renourishment.
To fund the dredge operating during the winter months, so when it's calmer we can use the dredge and pump the sand onto the beach.
Unruly weather conditions during the cyclone season have caused massive erosion problems. If sand continues to escape, it won't look good for Mooloolaba's tourists or locals.
It's far preferable to have a nice sandy beach than sitting on coffee rock.
The state government will contribute $350,000 to the project, which will also save its own buildings.
The state government are keen to protect this area where we are now because their offices and that are right behind us at the end of the spit.
The mouth of the Mooloola River was only 2 metres deep after the last cyclone season, making it difficult for vessels entering the harbour.
There's an inshore current that moves northwards and slowly deposits sand from down there all up the Queensland coast. And this creates a bar on every unprotected river mouth along its journey.
The dredge will allow a depth of 5 metres.
History shows us that where I'm standing now was in fact once underwater. That is why the state government and the Sunshine Coast Regional Council are working so hard on this project.
The process will be repeated each year until council is satisfied the beach is safe. Morgan Williams, Usc TV News.
A struggling Palmwoods family has been given some much needed help over the weekend. Around 30 students and teachers from the Sunshine Coast Grammar School visited their home for a surprise backyard renovation.
Tools in hand, the volunteers began to work on the makeover. It's the 5th Helping Hands project organised by the grammar school. This time, they teamed up with local businesses to help out a coast dad who's going through a rough patch.
We're helping out a father and his young daughter, who his wife actually passed away a couple of months ago. So we're just I think they've had a bit of bad luck.
Cameron Burton and his baby girl are now on their own. Cameron's wife died 3 months ago in childbirth. The project's aimed at helping the tot as she grows older. The gardens were in good shape, so instead the team installed play equipment, a sandpit and a trampoline. Helping Hands relies on the generosity of coast businesses who provide all the materials used in the project. The relief efforts are the brainchild of legal studies teacher Ben Princehorn. He says grammar has always been generous, but there weren't many ways the students could physically help out.
We definitely have a real responsibility to the communities, and we also have a responsibility to the kids, I think, to be able to give them the opportunity to develop those skills.
And he says there's a big waiting list of people wanting to join the crew.
We rely solely really upon business donations and those sorts of things, and everybody hears our stories and our pleas, and they say, look, you know, we'd love to jump on board with you.
Local charities contact the school about families who've fallen on hard times. Cameron and his daughter don't even know about the project.
He's in Tasmania at the moment with his daughter. I don't know what they're doing, but when he comes back he's going to get a pretty good surprise, I hope.
James Drew, Usc TV News.
It's not often you see hundreds of seniors in a room texting or talking on their mobiles, but when the gadget guy came to the Sunshine Coast to launch Seniors Week, locals grabbed their phones and came in search of all the latest tips.
For most of the younger generations, using a mobile phone is second nature. But for some, particularly senior citizens, it's not that easy. Here to the rescue, television's favourite technology expert, gadget guy Peter Blasina.
This is the first time I believe it's happened anywhere in the world, so it is a world-leading initiative.
Kicking off Seniors Week in Nambour, Peter launched the first of 14 learning new technology workshops. A $3 million initiative of Telstra and the Sunshine Coast Council.
Many older Australians will have grandchildren or children who use technology every day. Technology is changing the way they communicate with family and friends.
With a standout crowd of over 200 people today, these workshops will be implemented all across the Sunshine Coast in a bid to help citizens learn how to use new technologies.
With smartphones now being more advanced than the average computer, it's no wonder many were scared.
It's overcoming that fear factor that a lot of seniors have initially.
This 73-year-old Taunton great-grandmother uses the technology to keep in touch with her family.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I had, probably this is my first mobile, and I was so scared of all the other ones because they just didn't seem to work for me.
The workshops run until October. Kayleigh-Ann Beasley, USC TV News.
National Cupcake Day kicked off this week with more than 1,400 cooks across the state helping raise much needed funds for the RSPCA. The group says it couldn't survive without the generous support of locals.
It's a recipe that warms your heart.
Jelly beans for eyes and nose, and clouds for the tongue, and a marshmallow for the nose, and the ears are Oreos.
These cupcakes will help raise necessary resources for the animal welfare group. Alarmingly, some shelters say they can take in up to 20 new dogs a day.
You do get the cases that come through, like severely underweight dogs. What we see a lot of is dogs with long coats that don't get groomed.
The shelters survive with minimal government funding and rely on fundraising events like this. The RSPCA cares for 155,000 animals each year, but workers say the numbers only seem to be increasing.
It's all our problem that we have to deal with, and if we all sort of get in there and sort of work on it, obviously the welfare of the animals is going to improve.
And poochers themselves don't miss out on the delectable treats. A Maroochydore pet bakery is making sure all creatures get their just desserts.
Cupcake Day, and call it our Pupcake Day, so made cupcakes for dogs themselves. All of the proceeds from that went to the RSPCA.
While the event is all about fun and food, the reality behind this cause is the harsh treatment of animals. It's with hope that this event will raise people's awareness of the unjust treatment of animals. Jessica Taylor, USC TV News.
That's this week's bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and if you have any story ideas, email us at usctvnews@gmail.com. Bye-bye.